everybody. I would welcome all of you to our webinar, Access to Industrial Solutions, How to Bring Your Innovation to Germany's Industrial Heartland, NRW, the fourth of 9 webinars in the pre-program of our Startup Germany tour. My name is Dominik Stute. I'm responsible for the field of innovation, industry and international markets at the Chamber of Industry and Commerce in Dortmund, and I'm one of the main organizers of the Startup Germany tour. This webinar today is the third webinar this week, where we look at the exciting industries we have been working with as part of this year's Startup Germany tour, and for which we are looking for exciting startups from all over the world. So maybe you are interested and want to join the Startup Germany tour as well. On Tuesday, we had the topic logistics mobility, yesterday green tech, and now today industrial solutions. And as always, you can today expect an exciting program with great speakers who will show you how important industries work here and how you will gain access to them. And as always, a few words about the institutions that make the Startup Germany tour a success story for the last 6 years since we started. The Chambers of Industry and Commerce in the Ruhr area, Cologne and Düsseldorf, as well as our Chambers of Commerce abroad and our umbrella organization DRHK as initiators and organizers. Yeah, and we have great partners who support us. My big thanks go to the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Innovation, Digitalization and Energy of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, to NRW Global Business, as well as to our NRW Bank, who are all our partners this year. Yeah, and with one of these partners, we continue now. I'll hand over to Nina Rieger. She is policy advisor at the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Innovation, Digitalization and Energy of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. It's great to have all of you here. Great that you're here with us, Nina. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominik, for the introduction. Yeah, well, dear entrepreneurs from all around the world, dear ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a warm welcome from my side on behalf of the Ministry of Economic Affairs of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, difficult name. My name is Nina Rieger and I'm a policy advisor here at the ministry. And for us as the Ministry of Economic Affairs, it is the second time we are participating in the Startup Germany tour as a partner. And this year we nearly doubled our funding for this year tour because we see a lot of potential showing international startups from all over the world our brilliant startup ecosystem and our great industry partners. So the Startup Germany tour offers a great possibility for startups from all over the world to connect with key stakeholders from the German and international startup scene. And today you get great insights from our experts regarding industrial solutions here in North Rhine-Westphalia. We look forward to inviting the top 15 startups of this year tour to Germany in October to show you our entrepreneurial ecosystem and to connect you physically with startups, corporates, investors, and other key stakeholders from our local entrepreneurial ecosystem. And furthermore, we will allocate prize money worth of 15,000 euros in total to the top 3 startups of this tour. So if you're not yet registered for the competition, reach out to your German Chamber of Commerce, please. Yeah, during the digital pre-program and the hybrid main program in October, we want to show you the beauty and diversity of our stage. We want to give you the possibility to pitch your ideas, to connect, and also to grow your business on an international scale or European scale. And yeah, that's from my side. Thank you very much. Enjoy the webinar, enjoy the tour, and hope to see you or some of you soon in North Rhine-Westphalia.
Yeah, thank you, Nina, for the words of welcome, and thank you for being such a good partner for us. And now we already start with an introduction to the industrial solutions sector in NRW from our other partner, NRW Global Business. And I welcome here Maximilian Steinborn from NRW Global Business. The stage is yours. Thank you for being with us here.
Yeah, thank you. So now we have the right slide. Yeah, welcome to this seminar from my side, and thanks for the kind introduction. Yeah, indeed, I'm Maximilian Steinborn from NRW Global Business Project Manager. And in the follow, I'll refer to the more handier term NRW and not North Rhine-Westphalia, the full name. Yeah, we are the trade and investment agency of the state, North Rhine-Westphalia. We are 100% state agency. Export and investment promotion from one source is the main goal. And we have nearly 100 employees in Düsseldorf and worldwide for your economic success. We have 17 international offices to support you and your investment projects in NRW or in the development of new markets, in foreign markets especially. What we do, especially for startups, is we support your business development and help to expanding your business abroad. We provide market and industry data and share our know-how and our partners. There's also currently a welcome startup package, a soft landing package in the making. So let's see how that turns out when it's published. Yeah, at first, a very brief introduction of NRW. It's the most populous and the most densely populated of the 16 federal states in whole Germany. The largest city you may heard of, Cologne, Düsseldorf, where we are now, Dortmund, and also Essen. It's the most important metropolitan area is the Ruhr region, with around 5.1 million inhabitants, and also the Rhineland with more than 3.0 million inhabitants. And yeah, 31% of the German GDP is generated in NRW, and also 19 of the 50 top selling companies in Germany are based in NRW. And yeah, we have 160 million consumers within a radius of 500 kilometers. That's pretty much. Yeah, NRW is also considered as Germany's industrial heartland. So internationally active, large corporations work side by side with small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to ensure dynamic and economic power. And with more than 700,000 and 10,000 SMEs and 20 of the 50 companies with the highest turnover in Germany. So NRW offers a huge market potential for digital technologies and also industry-related services. And in 2020, the industrial enterprises based in NRW generated sales of 300 billion euros, which is like 18% of the industrial sales in whole Germany. And NRW is the home of large industrial corporations of world standings, as well as dozens of smaller companies which are leaders in their respective business fields, the so-called hidden champions. 25% of all hidden champions are located in NRW. Yeah, the industrial heartland, so 19.7% of the employed population work in the industrial sector, which is around 200,000 employees. The mechanical engineering is the biggest industrial employer. And as already said before, the Ruhr metropolis, as its core, is the strongest industrial regions in whole Europe. So we have the labor here, and we now look on the sales, like the top locations for manufacturers and suppliers. Mechanical engineering is the biggest industrial employer, and NRW is with around 200,000 employers, as said before. Important mechanical engineering companies includes Claas, GA, DMG, Mori Seiki, formerly Gildenmeister, and SMS, for example. And in 2020, the more than 1,500 companies in NRW accounted for 90% of the annual sales in Germany. There's also chemicals without pharmaceuticals. NRW is Germany's most important location for the chemical industry. Yeah, and as a chemical location, NRW ranks 5th in the EU and 13th in the world in terms of sales in 2019. So all the numbers are from 2019. But in 2020, the NRW share of annual German sales was 28%. The number of people employed in this industry was around 100,000, which is 27% share of German in total. And the number of NRW companies was 475. And major chemical companies are Atlanta, Bayer, and also BASF. There's also food. The agri-food industry provides around 400,000 jobs, making it one of the most important sectors of the economy and largest employers in NRW. It supplies about 1/5 of all total German sales in food. And in the food industry, in the narrower sense, so manufacturers of food and beverages, around 100,016 employees in around 1,000 companies. And it generated a turnover of like 40 billion euros. And renowned global players in the food industry based in NRW includes Dr. Oetker or Haribo. Also metal production and processing. NRW is Germany's leading steel producer. In 2020, around 422 companies with around like 100,000 employees generated sales of 32 billion euros. That means that NRW accounts 22% of German steel sales. And Germany is the largest steel producer in Europe. Important companies include ArcelorMittal, Deutsche Edelstahlwerke, Salzgitter, Mannesmann, and also ThyssenKrupp. The 10 economic sectors named above are all followed by these industries in place 11 and 18th. So there's also paper, pharmaceuticals, coke and refined petroleum products, repair, wooden and wicker goods, production of painting products and textiles, and also clothing. So this to give you a short introduction. So talking about future-oriented location means that manufacturing excellence meets smart system. We have high-tech startups and key industrial technologies are of central strategic importance for North Rhine-Westphalia as a location for innovation and business. Around 1/3 of all the German ICT sales are generated in NRW. And the strong ICT industry is a key driver for digital transformation for sure. We have more than 93,000 students in the field of information technology and electrical engineering, offer great specialist potential, and the numbers even rising. 4 leading edge clusters alone connect hundreds of companies in NRW as a research alliance with the leading research institutions and develop practical know-how for digital transformation. With its high density of industrial and commercial companies, the state offers countless of customers and cooperation partners for digital technologies along the entire value chain. Also key element and main driver is artificial intelligence in industry. And in comparison to Germany in total, NRW is above average in implementing artificial intelligence, like around 6% in 2019. And focus methods in NRW are machine learning and image recognition. And the focus of the application areas is on service and process automation. Most of the applications are developed by third companies, by the way. So with that being said, NRW is one of the leading states in company formations of the last 10 years, but also before. So it was like 300 in the last 10 years in artificial intelligence. We have a lot of university and technical college with the vibrant spin-off scene, like outlined before. 63 special research areas at universities, more than 50 non-university research facilities. 14 Fraunhofer Institutes of Applied Research, And to pick only one out is the Fraunhofer Institute for Material Flow and Logistics, short is EML, in Dortmund. About another important institute you will learn from my follow-up speakers for sure. EML, the focus is on machine learning, sensors, and human-computer interaction. And very interesting projects like the ML2R, the Competence Center Machine Learning Rhine-Ruhr, is one of 6 national nodes for bringing the development of artificial intelligence and machine learning in Germany to a worldwide leading level. And to this end, they establish cutting-edge research, support young scientists, and also strengthens technology transfers in companies. And there are also a lot of tech clusters and regional innovation platforms. Together with DigiHubs. And to give you a short introduction about the hubs on the right-hand side in the bubble, the DW NRW hubs serve as a central contact point for startups. The hubs facilitate the organization of cooperation between startups, large companies, and SMEs. The hubs are equipped to work together directly on digital prototypes and white label solutions for business models in a network of digital startups, SME, and industry, and support the digital transformation of medium-sized to large companies. We'll little rush through now. Time is running. So also interesting when it comes to industrial sector, I need to name the smart city approach as a great milieu for industry progress. Transfer of best practices from 5 digital model regions, all 369 cities and communities in NRW, is organized within the program, and 120 cities receive direct advisory and service support. And as a follow-up program is in preparation to accelerate smart city development through the state, and it's also co-founded by the European Regional Development Fund. So this is my last slide, except that I would like to invite you all to join the beat, and also feel free to contact us if there are any questions or whatever. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this great introduction. And now we come to our first spotlight on AI in the industry. And I'm very happy to welcome here Andreas Kerbel. He's AI manager at KI AI NRW, which is located at the Fraunhofer IAIS. So one Fraunhofer Institute more. Stage is yours. Thanks.
Thank you, Dominic. It's a very, I think we have a lot of cryptic abbreviations today, which are very difficult to pronounce, starting with NRW. So thanks for having me here. My name is Andreas, AI manager at KI NRW, and KI NRW is a competence platform for artificial intelligence. And our mission is to position North Rhine-Westphalia as one of the leading regions in applied artificial intelligence. Now, let me go to the next slide. Oh, sorry. Okay, today I want to talk to you about 3 things. Number 1 is, why do we think that now is the right time to be in AI? Number 2 is, why is North Rhine-Westphalia such a great place for AI to be? And actually, most of the arguments you already heard from Maximilian in the presentation before, but maybe let me also contribute some of that information. And last but not least, also the question on how we are contributing as KI NRW. And remember this picture with the guy on a child's bicycle with a rocket on his back, because this is something that we see very often, but let's come back to it in a minute. So there has been a lot of noise about artificial intelligence in the recent years, but if you look at the history of artificial intelligence, it is actually not a new topic. It has been around since the 50s, and we had several phases where there was a lot of interest, a lot of noise around artificial intelligence. But then a few years later, it was followed by maybe some disappointment in research, or let's say something would not materialize, and then interest would vanish, funding would go away, and so on and so on. And if you compare these waves, skeptics would say, well, we're just on another boom wave, and don't worry about it. It will be over quite soon. Now, the thing is, which is quite interesting about the current wave, is that now we are not only talking about research, but we are talking about application. And the success of this technology will very much depend on whether we can transfer it into application. And if you look at the recent research papers, you will notice that a lot of this research is actually done by private companies, so especially in the US and China. And what is also nice is that it's also became much easier for smaller companies to use artificial intelligence through cloud services. So we are confident that artificial intelligence is there and it is here to stay. And if you look at some of the really cool things you can do now, meanwhile, with artificial intelligence, you will see that actually it's a technology which has already arrived in our daily life. So as a smartphone user, you are using probably more than 5 AI technologies every time you pull out your phone. And some of the exciting use cases on this page, for example, if you look at it, it's quite, let's say, quite familiar. You have the speaker, that you can use for voice control, or you can use it in an augmented reality scenario, like this IKEA app, where you can visualize a piece of furniture in a room and how it's going to look like. You can also use artificial intelligence for extracting information from a document. So if you have a lot of correspondence in the office, you can easily do it through AI. Also, what you see this picture on the left, this, I don't know, front of a car and numbers on it. This is one of the industrial applications where AI is used for damage detection. So this car has been in a hail, and then you're using AI to identify the level of damage and turn it into insurance claim. So a lot of really, really interesting use cases that you can implement. And if you would look at how many companies are actually using AI, you will find out that it already has arrived at the industry. So this is a study from McKinsey done in 2021, where they asked the companies whether they are using AI in let's say, any function. And I think the two interesting things to notice is that one, it's 50% claim we are using AI or we are experimenting with AI. And the other thing which is interesting to notice is that the variety of use cases that you see on the right side is really, really broad. So you have things like predictive maintenance, you have, I don't know, customer service automation, and so on and so on. So there's a lot of cases that you can apply. And now probably is a good time to recall this picture from the beginning of my presentation, this guy on a kid's bike, because even though those companies claim, well, we are using AI, most of them are actually experimenting with. So they are sort of, in a picture, they are sitting on a kid's bike, but they're still trying to find out how to fire that rocket that they have on the back. And what we often see is that once the companies pass this experiment stage and bring some models into production, that it sort of really, really accelerates. Even looking at larger companies, international companies like Google, you could see that I think they used a handful of models in, let's say, 2012, and then 5 years later, there would be thousands of models. So really impressive growth. And if you look at North Rhine-Westphalia, and this is very much reflected in what Maximilian was saying before, yes, it is one of the largest economical regions in Germany. In fact, it's the biggest one. If you look simply at GDP, it's also home to almost 300 hidden champions, smaller companies, which we probably never heard the names of, but which make more than 500 million euros in revenues and are market leaders in the field. And what is also nice is that if you look at the contribution of the different sectors, you see it's a very balanced split across different industries. So it gives a very rich set of opportunities on what you can do in these industries. The other thing which is important for us is obviously the research. And North Rhine-Westphalia has a very broad education landscape. There's more than 700 students which are studying whatever. You can probably study everything in North Rhine-Westphalia. And if you would focus it just on programs dealing with artificial intelligence or data science, you would still find more than 100 university programs that you can take. And by the way, this picture you see on the left of this map, this is from our homepage where we have this stuff. So we put programs there to making it easier for students and for any individual, make it easier for them to access these programs. If you look into research, you would realize that North Rhine-Westphalia researchers are really good in language-based research. There's this OpenGPTX project, which is a part of the Gaia-X effort by European Union. And it is actually led by scientists from Fraunhofer EIS. together with others. North Rhine-Westphalia is also leading in quantum machine learning, which is one of the really, really exciting areas in upcoming years. And news from last week is that North Rhine-Westphalia, so Forschungszentrum Jülich or Jülich Supercomputing Center, will be home of the first exascale computer in Europe. So it will be the fastest computer. And I had to look it up myself. Exascale, it's I think 10 exponential, 10 or 10 with 18 zeros. So a very fast computer that will also be used for training artificial intelligence. And the combination of these two things, so on one side you have very interesting industrial landscape, on the other hand you have a very interesting research landscape, is something that we try to bring together in our projects. And one of the tools that we are using is by setting up so-called flagship projects, where we try to bring partners together to work on a topic which we believe will be highly relevant. And in these projects, we create blueprints, which then can be used for other players in the same industry. So as an example, if you would take the, let's say, a smart hospital project, that is something which is led by the University Hospital in Essen. There are, I think, 2 or 3 other universities involved in it, 2 Fraunhofer institutes, and 2 private companies. And they really go into the hospital, they really look at how doctors are working, how nurses are working, and try to find interesting solutions that can be used in this setting. And once this is ready, other hospitals can use the same thing. Now, obviously, this is not the only case. And by the way, if you're looking for more information, just come to our webpage. You can find a lot of information on all of these flagship projects, but also other things. And this is just a short picture of our, let's say, maybe not full, but many of our offers that we have on our homepage. And I would like to encourage you, really go and have a look, maybe sign up for the newsletter, have a look on the upcoming events. For example, if you look at the bottom left corner, this area, you have the AI Monday, AI to go. These are regular events that we are conducting maybe 4 or 5 times per year, each of them. And where we connect the players in the ecosystem, where we show interesting use cases, we typically pick up a certain area. For example, I think we had last week AI Monday with the topic Industry 4.0, industrial solutions, with different players, different speakers from all over the place, and it's really interesting. We also have, if you look at this AI worlds, where it's targeted more towards, let's say, broader audience or towards a society, where we show use cases for applying artificial intelligence. You have AI map, where you can find different opportunities for projects and different companies. So plenty of things that you can do here. And of course, if you have really cool use cases on artificial intelligence, please let us know, because we are always looking for exciting companies, for startups. We are also really happy to connect players together to promote this and to really create this nice ecosystem in Germany. So with that being said, my last slide, please get in touch with us. If you have questions, please just get back to me, and that's it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Kabel. And yeah, for our viewers, use this opportunity to ask him or the other speakers questions in the chat. They're real industry experts, and yeah, you will get a good answer, I think. Okay, thanks for the moment. Yeah, now we go on with our next spotlight and another very interesting topic, blockchain. And I warmly welcome Professor Dr. Wolfgang Prinz. He is Vice Chair of the next Fraunhofer, the Fraunhofer FIT, and is responsible for the initiative. Can I is it the right initiative project, blockchain NRW? So the stage is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and for giving me the opportunity to present you the different blockchain activities that are currently going on within NRW. And I would like to show you here some images of the blockchain Reallabor. I assume that most of you know already the whole blockchain topic, and maybe there are already some blockchain startups within the audience. Within North Rhine-Westphalia, we got a funding to establish this blockchain Reallabor. And this blockchain Reallabor is located actually in an old TV studio near Cologne. The whole area where we are located was a TV studio area that is currently being remodeled into lofts for startups, for companies. And this is located near Cologne. So strategically very well oriented towards railway stations, towards the airport, in the southern part of Cologne, southern part of our state. And you see here the building, and within this building, we are running different activities. And here you see the 3 pillars of the major blockchain activities within our state. The middle one, our blockchain laboratory, this is a funded project. And within this funded project, we are talking to industry, we are talking to startups in order to educate, to demonstrate, but also to develop initial blockchain applications. And in the digital transformation, we try to help companies to use that technology or even to educate them in the technology. I mean, obviously not everything can be solved with blockchain. There is just a small set of use cases that really are blockchain, that really can be blockchain enabled. But we try to educate the companies, startups, and all other organizations to use that technology. And I think this may help you in understanding the technology, probably also for your particular business. But if you are working on blockchain technology, we can help you also to get in touch with companies and also to accelerate and to enable your business by the different activities that we do within our blockchain laboratory. If you look at the left side of the slide, you see another pillar, and this is blockchain.NRW. This is a community that we have launched within our state to bring all the blockchain companies together. And there's a website for that. We also have established a blockchain landscape where all the different blockchain companies within our state are located. And we initiate and organize regular community meetings. So we started with this initiative in April this year, where we started our first community meeting. We had 40 participants, 20 were in presence, 20 were participating online. And with this meeting, we initiated the whole thing, and we discussed actually what is the strengths of our state with respect to blockchain. Obviously, within Germany, you'll find other locations where you see blockchain hubs. But we believe that the strength in our state is really in the industrial applications of the blockchain technology. There are also some crypto companies, but the main strength is really in applying this interesting technology in industrial use cases for digital identities, product passes, token-based economies, pay-per-use applications, and all the rest. And if you look at the right-hand side of the slide, you see our Institute for Digital Future Technology. This is actually an association, and within this association, we gather companies who are interested in blockchain, AI technology, and other digitization technologies. And the aim here is that these companies, by paying a participation fee, can invest in quick projects. So the idea is companies become member, also startups become a member, but the membership fee is not being used to run some big parties or other things. The membership fee is used to initiate and to invest in digitization and innovation projects. So those who become member of this association, they can benefit in the end, in particular if you are a startup, from very rapid projects that we initiate from within this particular association. Now here you see a landscape. You see where the major blockchain companies are being located. This is around Aachen because of the RWTH Aachen University, all the area around Cologne, but also in the Ruhr area, Dortmund, and in particular here because there is also another very interesting blockchain initiative, which is the Blockchain Europe Institute at the IML. It was already mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, and they are focusing on blockchain and supply chain technologies. So you see all the major blockchain initiatives are located here, and you will find this landscape on our webpage, and there you can also click on the different icons, and then you see, is it a startup, is it a project that is already running, or is it an application partner who's using blockchain technology? Here you see some impressions from an event that we just did last Tuesday. It was the blockchain convention. And here you see the hall in which we have organized this. This is actually the building in which we are located. And in this building, we have an AI project, we have an upcoming AI project, and we also have our blockchain project that is located within this hall. And we have demonstration areas, meeting areas, We have working areas, co-working areas, and by participating in the association, you can also use this particular building for your own purposes. In essence, what we want to do here is to make this a one-stop shopping point for blockchain within our state, such that IT companies, but moreover application partners, visit us, and by visiting us, then they get education on this particular technology, and we do networking with companies who are working in this particular area. So here you see the different offers of our project and the blockchain Reallabor in our state. So we do introduction tutorials, use case analysis, concept development, and if you are a blockchain company, we do networking on funding opportunities, because there are a lot of funding opportunities, in particular because of the current change that is going on in our area. You may have heard that our area is dominated by coal mining and energy production based on coal. The problem is that we have to stop that for different reasons, most over for economic reasons and ecological reasons. But this means that there is a lot of change going on, and this change is being supported. So there are a lot of different funding projects that support organizations and companies in our area to do a digital transformation, which is then fostered by IT companies and also startups. So we see ourselves here as a networking agency also to bring people together and also to show them what kind of funding opportunities actually exist. Here you see some demonstrators that people can see. So there are different demonstrators for logistics company, for the wind industry. We do something on mobile technology, for the pharma industry, in the area of smart cities and so on. And everybody who's doing something on blockchain technology is welcome to exhibit just a poster, just some flyers, but even also a demonstrator in our location, really to make this attractive for industry and to get obviously new partners and new customers. And with this, I would like to stop. I hope I make you curious about it. You can follow us on the website, Blockchain Reallabor or blockchain.nrw. We are very present on LinkedIn and Twitter. You can also either email me directly or at info@blockchain.nrw. And I hope that probably some of you may visit us in the future, and maybe you become even a partner within our building, and then you start your blockchain journey within our state. So thank you very much, and then I hand over to the next speaker.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Prinz, for your presentation and this insights in blockchain NRW. And yeah, I will hand over to the next speaker now, and it's already our last spotlight today, and it's on the topic of quantum computing. Probably one of the most important technological, you know what I mean, developments of the next decades, I think. And yeah, you will hear more from this from René Weising from NMWP NRW. You will explain us what this means. Thanks for being here with us.
All right. Thanks for the kind introduction and a warm welcome from my side. I hope you can all see my presentation, but no complaints, so I assume that's the case. So thank you very much for the kind welcome and opportunity to give a short talk on quantum computing today. My name is René Weising, and I'm part of the cluster as well as the management GmbH NMWP. Before I get to the actual topic of today's talk, I would like to take the opportunity to briefly introduce our cluster. Our cluster's name is the abbreviation of the key technologies we are representing, which are nanotechnologies, microsystem engineering, new materials, photonics, and since 2019, quantum technologies. And within the framework of the economic cluster, our goal is to connect representatives from science, industry, and politics, as well as to initiate and accompany projects. I would like to start my introduction towards quantum computing with Moore's law, an empiric observation by Gordon Moore from 1965, according to which the number of transistors on a microchip doubles every 2 years, combined with an increase in performance and a reduction in costs. Many of you might remember your first computer, and if you compare it to your computer today, the performance increase is probably immense, thanks to further development and optimization of components illustrated by the graph on the left, where we have reached over 100 trillion transistors in a processor by today. However, the effort to integrate ever more and ever smaller transistors into a circuit will eventually reach its limits. For example, because cooling the transistors requires more energy than the energy flowing through the transistor itself, which will bring me to Richard Feynman and his famous talk, "There's Plenty of Room at the Bottom," an invitation to enter a new field of physics in 1959. He predicted that one would soon be able to manipulate matter down to the level of individual atoms. And this is exactly how the operation of a quantum processor is achieved. But what is often forgotten when new technologies are introduced is that they are made possible by the further development and optimization of existing technologies. And this statement can be made for deposition methods. Nowadays, it is possible to produce thin films in a homogeneous and defect-free structure below 10 nanometers, which can be used for the fabrication of well-designed quantum devices. In this context, I would like to introduce two companies located in North Rhine-Westphalia, Reit and Eichstron. Reit as a manufacturer of electron beam lithography systems showcased on the left, and Eichstron as a manufacturer of several chemical vapor deposition systems. With all the mentioned deposition techniques, a trained person is able to produce thin films, which are already being used in quantum devices today. So the heart of a quantum computer is the processor, a statement most would agree on. However, there are a variety of components that are needed to build and operate a quantum computer. And often these components also require optimization, further development, and adaptation to new requirements. Some technologies are listed on the right that are important, but sometimes overlooked towards the construction of a quantum computer. And therefore, I would just address some question you might ask yourself before you start actually building a quantum computer. For example, how can I build my computer vibration-free? Should I manipulate my processor using electromagnetic radiation? How can I shield other sensitive components? Should my processor need to be cooled? Which material can withstand temperatures just above absolute zero? And all these requirements will differ from quantum computer towards quantum computer. But within North Rhine-Westphalia, in addition to companies that develop special components for quantum computers, we also have companies that already use quantum technologies as an application. And the first example is Electron, a spin-off from the chair of quantum optics at the University of Siegen, who developed quantum computers and already offering the service for optimization problems, quantum chemistry, and logistics to customers. As a second example, I want to highlight Pixel Photonics, who are developing single photon detectors for which they have been awarded with the Innovation Prize NRW. And by showcasing several companies in the context of quantum computing, I wanted to address that we have a high level of expertise in the field of quantum computing within North Rhine-Westphalia. And this is a strong argument for companies that deal with the field of quantum computing to settle here. And there are also already numerous ongoing projects at state and federal level, since in 2020, the federal government provided a total of 2 billion euros for funding projects in the field of quantum technologies. But what exactly is the great advantage of this new technology, and what are use cases where added value is already given? Therefore, let me briefly introduce the major difference towards a classical computer. I already talked about transistors when addressing Moore's law, and everything we do on our computer, from writing an article to watching Netflix, is carried out by these transistors. They have two states, on and off, represented by the position 0 and 1. And the counterpart within a quantum computer is the quantum bit or qubit. And quantum bits are capable of being in more than one state at a time, called in a superposition. This creates room for multiple calculations to be stored on a single qubit. Together with the fact that qubits can be entangled, some problems can be solved exponentially faster. And this is exactly showcased in the graphic. If the task is getting more and more complex, a quantum computer in combination with the right algorithm can showcase this value. Conversely, even a traditional supercomputer has its application area in which it continues to dominate. In other words, there is no better or worse without knowing the problem. So finally, I would like to introduce some applications that are already showing signs of a return on invest. First, we have the pharmacy in the context of drug optimization and synthesis of new drugs, which nowadays is often achieved by simulation like the density function theory. And this is hard or associated with high computing power when the system is getting bigger and bigger for regular computers or supercomputers, because you have to model the quantum mechanical interaction between every pair of electrons. And since quantum computing is made up of quantum mechanics itself, it is able to properly simulate molecules and biological processes, since they are also made up of quantum mechanics. You could even go further. In principle, each qubit within a quantum processor can represent an orbital of an atom, which allows screening of all possible molecular compositions, interactions, and properties of any desired compound. The second is sector well linked to the pharmacy chemistry, and we heard already about machine learning. To give you just a concrete example, BASF is looking to optimize the Haber-Bosch synthesis of ammonia, looking for a more efficient catalyst in the context of discovering new materials. And just to give you a short overview of machine learning and what is meant by machine learning and clustering. Machine learning and clustering are probably the most overhyped and underestimated topic in combination with quantum computing at the same time. This is because the possibilities seem endless, but the feasibility of already existing programs or algorithms has to be proven. And here you can make a distinction between supervised and unsupervised algorithm. The first one learns from its input. For example, I can tell these are good catalysts and these are bad catalysts, now learn. Whereas the second ones learn without interaction. For example, I just can tell you to find different groups of catalysts. So what you will end up with are a lot of data points with a certain distance towards each other. And this distance can represent a change in properties. So you can cluster these catalysts regarding different properties in a way that groups of catalysts showing a similar behavior will be mapped close to each other. And last but not least, I would shortly mention finances. Within the finance sector, the value is mainly given by high complex operations within a short period of time. So basically, the earlier I can predict the outcome of a certain event, the earlier I can start acting. And in this context, the famous and often used example is the Monte Carlo simulation, the technique used to understand the impact of risk and uncertainty, for example, in the financial market. And a proper example could be the prediction of stock prices. Should you buy more or start selling? And the faster and more accurate this information will be available to you, the more profit can be generated over a long period of time. With this, I'd like to thank all the listeners and the opportunity to give the talk within this seminar. I'm looking forward to your questions, and if you are interested in quantum technologies at all, feel free to get in contact with me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And for our viewers, this is really the last chance to be very quick and ask questions. Otherwise, yeah, big thanks not only to you, Mr. Weissing, but to all of our speakers for their great insights into the different technologies. I think we've given our viewers a good insight and above all, good points of connection to NRW, to institutions, to this technology. So yeah, really big thanks to our speakers and thanks to our viewers and thanks for watching. And I hope I see some of you at the next webinars and yeah, and maybe at our Startup Germany tour as well. If you need any information, contact me via email, via LinkedIn, feel free. And yeah, thanks again. Goodbye. Have a nice day.